Our speaker today is no stranger. Dianne is a practitioner here, and she's also a life coach, and she teaches classes, and she's a lawyer, and a mom, and a friend, and a daughter, an amazing woman in so many ways. I think we both stopped watching Scandal. Not sure for... yeah. But I'm delighted that she has agreed to be our speaker on Second Sundays. I know I'm always inspired by you, Dianne. And so please join me in welcoming back Dianne.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, we're pretty cool people, huh? Yeah. So thank you, Khadija. That was beautiful drumming. I love the drums. Every time I see it, I get excited. Because I think, all right, we're about to get that vibe up in a room. So I really like that. How is everyone doing?
Great.
Okay, wonderful, great.
Happy?
Enthusiastic, I love it. Happy? Yes, so good morning. We're happy and transformed and awake and alive and living fully and choosing to step into our greatest expression of ourselves. So the topic, right? We have an annual topic that's going on with Centers for Spiritual Living. I'm going to use this because I look up definitions. So the world that works for everyone, a world that works for everyone is our overall theme for Centers for Spiritual Living this year. And today's topic is going from complacency to excellence. So I want to start with definitions because you all know I love to look it up. Complacency is a feeling of being satisfied with how things are and not wanting to make them better. Not wanting to make them better. What does that mean? That means we don't want it to grow. We don't want it to thrive. We don't want it to prosper. We just want it to be this way. Right? And if you think about it on a global perspective, what does that mean in terms of a world that works for everyone? The world that we're in right now. Is it working for everyone? Is everybody fed? Is everybody sheltered? Are people living their dreams? Are people hope-filled and hopeful? Are lives filled with joy? Are people happy? There's nobody standing on the side of the street begging, right? Because everybody is thriving and prospering and where we are is okay? Yes? No? No. No. So can we afford, if we want a world that works for everyone, to be complacent about what's going on in the world? Can we afford to be okay with laws that say, you can't use this bathroom because you've made a choice for your life? Can we be okay with that? Can we be okay with rules and laws now that are coming into effect that in essence say, if you worship the divine in this way, it's not okay anymore? Can we be okay with that? Can we be okay with regression? The world does not work for everyone. That's a world that works for someone, but not everyone. And it only works for very few people. So can we afford to be complacent? And we're answering no. We cannot. So what do we have to do? We have to find a way to shift and be a part of the shift. Because here's the deal. Nothing changes if nothing changes. That means that if you don't change, if I don't change, if we don't change, nothing changes. If we don't feed each other, if we don't share our resources and give our clothes when we don't use them anymore, or we outgrow them, or we don't really need as many jackets or coats or boots, if we don't change and share our resources, nothing is going to change. People are going to be hungry. People are going to be without clothes. People are going to be without. We're going to still live in a world that's rampant with destruction and sadness. And all kinds of things that cause us sadness. And then we do what? Generally speaking, the population does what? It goes, well, it's always been that way. So that's just the way things are. And we become complacent. We become okay with the way, satisfied with the way things are, and not wanting to make them better. What is that? That's not what we're choosing. That's why we're here. saying no. And lots of people across the planet are saying, we don't choose this anymore. There is now a sense of displeasure that we're all feeling with what's going on. And we're like, no, something has to change on a global perspective. Let's talk about what is excellence. Excellence is of extremely high quality. Well, what does that mean? If I'm going to be of extremely high quality, it means that everybody gets to live an extremely high quality life. Everybody gets to learn how to play the piano or unfold their dream or become a great artist or be a wonderful teacher or be a wonderful student. Everybody gets to do the thing in high quality that they were born to do. So how do we allow that to happen? A high quality of life means what? It means that I have more than just basics. I have food, clothing, and shelter, and I have the opportunity and availability of resources that allows me to be the expression that I was born to be. Every single person here, born to be great, to be amazing, to be incredible, to make a difference on the planet, to be a part of the world. Every single person here born with a purpose. There is a reason for you, Gary. There is a reason for you to be here. And if you were not here, that part that you came to fulfill would not happen. That would mean that something would be missing. Everything here has a purpose and a function. Every single last one of us. That beautiful little baby has come into the world to make a difference. And so we get to create a world that works for everyone by becoming an expression of excellence, high quality. We get to do that. How do we do that? How do we step out and create a world that allows a high quality of life for each and every person? We all know where it starts. It starts with me. It starts with you. It starts right where you are. Because when I am great and I am living in my highest self, I give you permission to be great and to live in your highest self. And you get the chance and opportunity to shine your light. When you shine your light, I get permission to shine mine. When you say, I'm going to try this thing. I'm going to step out and step up and live in my greatest expression of myself. It gives me permission to live in my greatest expression of myself. And then we change the status quo and we no longer sit in complacency. We break the agreement that we've all made to say that life is just the way it is. There is no such thing as life just the way it is. I was having this great conversation last night about how the world is young. The world is still really young. And it's like when you think about what has happened in your lifetime, probably everybody here knows of a time when there wasn't something that we have now in the world. I'm thinking that everybody here, there are at least 10 people in this room that knows what it was like before the internet. Yeah. There are at least 10 people in this room that knows what it was like before cell phones. There are at least 10 people in this room that remembers what a payphone is. Yeah. And you needed a dime, and then you needed 2 dimes, and then you needed a quarter. Remember? And what an amazing thing that I could pull my car over at a box and drop 2 dimes in it and make a phone call and talk to Vernon. Now, I press a button in my car and I say, call Vernon. And it says, pardon? What would you like to do? Excellence. The world is changing at such a rapid pace and yet still at such a slow pace. Because we have all of this advanced technology, all of this amazing stuff, cars that can parallel park themselves. We have all of that and we haven't quite figured out how to look at another human being and their decision for how they're going to express on the planet, their way of being in the world, and making that be okay. We haven't yet quite figured out how it's okay for you to be worshiping at temple while I'm at the synagogue, while John is at the mosque. We just haven't figured it out yet. But we can put satellites in the world that can tell me what time I'm going to arrive. Right outside this door. I knew that I was pulling up at 10:59. And at 10:59, we pulled up. I knew that because we have this amazing technology. So now The question is, how does this world, this amazing world that we continue to build on, expand on, grow, how does that work for everyone? How do I change my personal expression of myself so that it is all that I came to be? And then allow and support you in your personal expression of yourself so that it is all that you came to be. Because that's what life is about. That's the whole point of being here. It's evolution, it's growing, it's unfolding, it's becoming more and more of your true self and leaving your gift, your magnificent gift on the planet. That's why we're here. Not to go to work, pay bills, and retire. That's not the sum total of your existence. There is more. There is freedom to be, bring, and deliver your gift. Certainly, the agreements that we've made are wonderful. We've made great agreements, such as we bathe on a regular basis. That's an important agreement because nobody wants to sit next to someone who does not bathe often. You know what I mean? We've agreed that there's certain ways that we are in society, that we're going to have rules about how we move the cars along the road. That allows us to function in a particular way. And those rules and those agreements are really important, the infrastructure stuff, the self-care stuff. How do we decide what we're doing? But we have also learned that there's a lot of agreements that we have. There are a lot of agreements that we have that don't work. There are a lot of agreements that we have that don't serve us anymore. Like the foods that we chose to eat and thought was good and decided was good. Now all of a sudden we're hearing all the damage that sodas cause to the bone, to the body temple. It's no longer agreeable to have a pop with everything. Then we had agreed that we weren't going to use regular sugar. We were going to create some other kind of chemical type thing that was going to substitute sugar. And we did that, now we've realized, oh wait, that causes brain damage, cancer, all kinds of things that kills us. So now we're breaking that agreement. So how about we take it out of the physical and take it into the spiritual and take it into the emotional. Let's start with the spiritual and decide that the body of our fears, those parts that are not working, it's time to change them. How about we decide to be courageous and step into a world that's about prayer, affirmative prayer, and meditation, and have our lives express that affirmative prayer. Have our lives be a perfect expression of what it is that we're declaring for ourselves. We start there, and each one teach one. Each one gives the other one permission. So when someone who, I don't know, they're not in this teaching, they probably go to some other kind of place where they've been told, you can't do this, the world says this, these are the rules, you only get to show up in this way, and then they share a little dream with you. And how about you be their encourager and say, oh, that sounds awesome. I think it'd be great if you went to paint night and did painting once a week. I think that would be awesome. You should explore that. It's okay. Would you like me to go with you? How about if we support each other in the unfolding of the dream? So we start there. We start with spiritual practices. We take a moment every day, 5 minutes, just 5 minutes. Really, 5 minutes to be still. Just to be still. And of course, you know, as has been written, if you don't have 5 minutes, you probably need an hour. You probably need way more time. If you cannot find 5 minutes to sit down in your life and be still and be quiet, you probably need a whole lot more. But let's start with 5 minutes for those people who are new to meditation. If you're already meditating, go ahead, meditate. But if you're new to meditation, 5 minutes, take 5 minutes and be still. And just breathe. Just watch and think about nothing but what your body's doing. It's breathing, it's pumping blood, it's processing oxygen, it's releasing toxins. Everything's happening, it's cleansing, it's purifying, it's doing all kinds of digesting and shifting, releasing. Just think of your body and spend 5 minutes there in a spiritual practice that allows you to become aligned with yourself and tap into yourself. And then start affirmative prayer. Start watching what you read. Start watching what you're allowing into your consciousness all day long. And take 10 minutes and do something else. Perhaps read a spiritual book. Perhaps read Science of Mind magazine. Perhaps go online and read something that allows you to think about something positive. Read something positive. Reverend Alex talked about Scandal. The author of Scandal, the woman that writes that and creates it and directs it, she has this great book out called The Year of My Yes, right? Get a book like that that encourages you to follow your dream. Get something that encourages you to be your greater self. Not something that's going to tell you that you're a lowly sinner and you really don't need to be beaten up anymore. Let's make an agreement to be encouraging. Let's make an agreement to be in a positive way about ourselves and then share that positive energy with someone else. Let's not go to work tomorrow and think, oh God, it's Monday. This is the same foolishness like last week. Same thing I'm doing that I was doing. Let's go instead and say, look, I have a job. I have an income. I have a way of funding my life. Because your day job, if you feel that way about your day job, it's just a funding situation. It's not your real situation. You haven't obviously found your real situation yet, or you'd be going to work with joy and delight and going, woo, yes, I'm here, it's time to go, let's go. So we're ready now, right? We're going to start to nurture our spirit, encourage ourselves, do some prayer, do some meditation, really spend some time in positive thinking. Then let's think about the emotions. Let's think about how much we bottle up. When you want to live an excellent life, you cannot continue to bottle pain. You cannot continue to bottle sadness. Nobody's saying don't be sad. Nobody's saying don't have pain. Nobody's saying don't be angry. Sure, those are all normal emotions that pass through the body temple. And that's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to pass through. Some of them stay a little bit longer because you have things to learn. But it's up to you to learn lessons and not hang on to emotions that are toxic. They're killing your body. They're tearing you down, and they're also tearing away at your spirit, right? Because you're so mad at, you're so sad about, you're so upset that you can't even focus on what is good. You can't even see the lesson or the blessing that comes into or is leaving your life. Because you're so focused on holding on in self-righteous justification. It's always been this way. I've always had a hard time. I've always had to struggle. I've always. Complacency. I'm stuck here. Nothing's ever going to change. Well, get up. Get up and change it. It's your life. You're one time in the body like this. So have a rock star life. It doesn't have to be an Oprah rock star life. It doesn't have to be an Axl Rose rock star life. It can be your rock star life. Your brand of freedom. Your way of creating. Your gift that you're going to deliver. Your love. Your harmony. Your beauty. Your kindness. Your smile that someone needs right now. In this moment that you're going to bring to the world. Your gift, your talent, your thing. The security that the way that you show up in the world provides for someone is so important because that radiates through that person and they share it with someone else and someone else. So how about we go to those emotions and we start to practice letting them go. Notice throughout your day, and you don't even have to go in, because I'm not saying go into therapy and try to process everything that you've ever had. That's not at all what I'm saying. What I am saying is become aware of how you are reacting to things. How are you reacting to stuff? What annoys you all of a sudden? And how important is it really to be that annoyed about that thing? How important is it really to be angry and to still be angry? To hate and to still hate? How important is that? The other day I got a call. Yesterday? Friday. I got a call from my ex-husband calling me to thank me for being a good ex-wife. It's like, oh, that's kind of funny, right? And I was like, and he says, no, because, no, seriously. And he's like, wait, no, listen to me. Because when I talk to other people who are divorced and I hear what they're going through, and all I have to say is my ex-wife is a good woman, just not for me. What? amazing it is to grow through pain and hurt and anger and disappointment and let go and forgive and allow the healing to happen. Do you know how incredible that is? And so when I had to call him back because I was in the middle of something, and so I called him back and he said, hello, and I said, hi, it's your amazing, wonderful, magnificent ex-wife. How are you? You know, and he just fell out laughing. He said, now you took it too far. You know, but the fact that we went through so much pain, it was heavy, and we were schlepping it, and there was anger, and there was rage, and there was hurt, and there were tears and screaming and words that I can't even say on this tape because it's being recorded, right? And just things being said, hurt wounds, wide open, raw, so much. And I chose to work through it. I chose to understand why I was angry. Not just to say, okay, I'm going to let it go. I forgive you. Namaste. I didn't do that. I walked through what I was angry about. Because my forgiveness of him was not forgiving him. It was forgiving me. It was me letting go. It was me releasing myself from the attachment to the race consciousness that says that divorced people can't get along. I decided that I wasn't going to attach to that, and I was going to deal with my inner stuff, and I was going to feel my inner stuff, and I was going to heal my inner stuff, and I was going to release myself from captivity of that emotion. And when I made that choice and I let go, I gave him permission to let go. So every time that he called and he was mad, I was like, hey, how are you? You know, and I was pleasant, and I was respectful, and I was cordial. And I showed up. And then he started showing up, giving me permission to let go of some of the stuff that I hadn't yet quite let go of, you know, and we let each other off the hook. And what a blessing it is to have let that emotion go. Now, that doesn't say that, you know, tomorrow you may not call in something and say something that annoys me. But that does not mean that I'm going to be attached, because I've done the forgiveness work. So I don't have to ever pick it back up. I can let it go and move on and be happy and be joyous and joy-filled and not have that place bracketed. Because what we do with emotions a lot of times is we bracket them, you know, we put them in parentheses and sort of store them. And you know you've stored it because something can be said and trigger it. And then you're like, you know, and you're blindsided by, why am I still angry about this? Why? Because you didn't handle it. You didn't go there. And if the anger comes, it's not an opportunity to beat yourself up. It's an opportunity to revisit, take the brackets off, and set yourself free from that. So we're doing spiritual work. We're doing emotional release. And we're going to do some surface level stuff. We're going to stop watching so much of the stuff that causes us distress. I knew I was watching too much Criminal Minds. When I went I'm at work, and I'm walking down the corridor, because part of what I do is I visit people that are incarcerated. And I'm walking down the corridor, and the door slams, and the first thought in my mind was, what could happen to me right now, and where's everybody in the mall? And I realized, wait a minute, where is your sense and awareness that all is well? And I realized immediately I could see, you know, the guys on Criminal Minds looking over the body, examining the thing, because I had spent so much time there. So what I do now is I let them record, because I haven't quite released my attachment. I let them record, but I don't watch them on a daily basis. I don't feed them to my mind every day. I don't feel that energy and vibration every day. I don't feed the Law and Order SVU stuff or all the other stuff that's on TV. I don't feed the CNN thing. I don't feed the what's wrong with the world thing every day, all day, because it affects how I show up in the world. And it's just a memory that's triggered from something that I wasn't even involved in. How about that? I was just watching it. And now all of a sudden it's attached to how I experience the world because I know this could possibly happen. Dun, 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 you know? So we're watching what we put in our minds. We're watching what we put in our bodies. We're watching how we feed ourselves. That's what I was talking about, the food. We're watching how we take care of the body temple. Not because we're self-righteous, but because we're honoring that thing, that vessel that is right now hosting our spirits. We're honoring that vessel that's right now hosting our souls. So we take care of it. We feed it well. We exercise it well. We watch what we put in. And we take good care. So we're doing that. We're watching what goes in our minds. We're entering into spiritual practices. And we're entering into an emotionally healthy relationship with ourselves. When I do that, I give you permission to do that. When you do that, you give me permission to do that. And we get to walk together and create a world, a dynamic world that works for all of us. We start to do things. Last week, Reverend Alex talked about recycling. We start to do things about taking care of the planet. It's about taking care of each other. It's about stepping up your game and taking care of you and helping, participating in creating the world that works for everyone. That's what we do, and we start with us. So I invite you this week to start with you. Find one thing and make a shift, because you're the only one that can create your own shift. Thank you.